The Asian tiger parents. Doctor, engineer, lawyer. In that order. Jady Pham, I am quitting anesthesiology. Met Jady in person in New York back in 2019, I believe. Both him and Jane, and really nice people. It was cool to hang out with them for a bit. Let's see what's going on.
Hey guys, it has been forever since I last made a video. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jady and I'm an anesthesiologist. For those of you who do know me, I know it has been quite a long time.
Damn, that's wild. I think when I met him, he must have still been a med student. Cause, yeah, anesthesia is what, 4 years? That was 19, yeah, wow.
I know it has been quite a long time since I last made a video. I think the last time I made a video was probably a year or two ago, but it feels good to be back. I have some huge announcements to make. Some of you may have already noticed that I changed the name to this channel. I'm gonna be taking over the channel. I'm gonna be using it to document the next chapter of my life.
Yeah, the channel used to be called Jane and Jady. I guess they rebranded it, or he rebranded it to just his name. But all his old videos are gone. It's just his current one and a short. Okay. I guess part of a rebrand.
And that leads me to the second big announcement. As you can tell from the title of this video, I am quitting medicine. I'm quitting anesthesiology to pursue my dream. And so I'm gonna be documenting this next chapter of my life on this channel.
Dude, I feel like these I'm quitting videos are getting more and more common. It's wild.
And I'll get into that in a second, but the past 12 years of my life I have spent working towards this very moment. I didn't really know what it meant to become a doctor. From the very moment I was born into this planet, my parents, strict Asian parents, they had implanted this seed into my brain that I was gonna grow up and become a doctor.
The Asian tiger parent stereotype. And the reason he says 12 years is 4 years of college, 4 years of medical school, 4 years of anesthesiology residency. That's 12.
Or an engineer or a lawyer.
Yeah, there's like a ranking to it too amongst the Asian immigrants, right? It's like doctor, engineer, lawyer. In that order, no other options.
At that moment, I thought being a doctor was really cool. You know, you get to take care of all these patients, treat all these different diseases. I didn't know what it meant to become a doctor. I didn't know all the sacrifices and challenges that would come with this journey. And so little Jady didn't know any better. He just went to college, studied really hard in college to get into medical school, and then got into residency. I just went through with the motion. It was laid out to me. But during this whole journey to get to where I am, I wasn't really happy. I was unsure, but as a lot of you guys know, once you get into med school, you are pretty much locked in for the whole, you're pretty stuck because of how expensive medical school is, and you have to take out loans. And once you take out a bunch of loans, you're kind of stuck because there's no really way to pay it off if you just quit. Kind of scary.
So a couple things there. A lot of people feel trapped once they get in because the average graduating medical student in the US is now graduating with about $250,000 in student loans, which is huge. And because doctors have higher incomes, they feel trapped because they need to complete their training, then get that doctor salary to then pay it down. Because if they go do something else, it's generally not gonna pay nearly as well. And therefore it's gonna be much harder to pay those loans. The other thing is you'll see this theme with Asian immigrant families. Now I'm South Asian, right? I have a more progressive mom who's not really pressuring me to do anything, which I'm very grateful for. But it's very common in Indian, other South Asian, and East Asian and Southeast Asian cultures to really push this, the doctor profession or engineer or lawyer. And I don't think that's a good reason. And the thing that really backfires is that you lose that sense of agency. You lose the sense that you're doing it because you want to. And then you're much more likely to be unhappy. So essentially, if the parents are forcing the child to do something, the child will dislike that thing more than if the parents did not push them and the child decided by their own accord, their own agency to pursue the same thing. They would be happier, just even though it's the same exact thing they are doing. They're still doing medicine, they're still doing medical school, just because they chose it and they have that agency. So something that is unfortunate, but also very common.
And so because of that, I just went through with the motion. I thought that once I became an attending, once I get through all this training in med school, it would get better. I would look for that light at the end of the tunnel. And so I just kept my head down, went with the motion, finished residency. Here I am. I'm at that light. I'm at the end of the tunnel.
Congrats to him though. even though you're going through the motions, going through that whole process and coming out the other end as a fully certified attending physician in whatever specialty, here it's anesthesiology, that's impressive. That's something to be proud of, right? But keep in mind, just getting to the finish line doesn't mean that automatically you're now happy. Because as many of us have learned the hard way, achievements and pushing yourself and driving yourself and hitting whatever milestones, that doesn't really bring the happiness anyways.
It's not what I had expected. I thought I was gonna be happy. And now I've been practicing anesthesia for the last 2 years. It's been good. Anesthesia is a really good job. If it wasn't for anesthesia, I really wouldn't know what other specialty I would have chosen. I do enjoy it.
Okay, if he's been doing anesthesiology for 2 years, he must have been a resident when I met him actually in New York, not a med student then.
There was still something missing. I wasn't truly happy, and I thought I would be. And so it felt lacking. Now I'm an attending. I've fulfilled my duties to my parents. They're happy, they're satisfied that I'm a physician now. And so now I want to spend the next portion of my life pursuing what I truly want to do in life, pursuing my own happiness. And so I made a decision to leave anesthesia and to pursue my dream.
Oh yeah, man, kudos. It takes balls to do that, especially when everyone's watching you.
Want to introduce to you all Cloud Health. Pretty exciting. So Cloud focuses on optimizing your overall health and wellness. My vision for Cloud is that it's a place where you can go to improve your mental well-being, your overall body health, and even get anti-aging procedures. The way we can achieve this is that we use ketamine infusion therapy to treat mood disorders such as depression, anxiety, OCD, PTSD. We will also be providing IV therapy such as vitamins, NAD, glutathione to improve overall body health. And we will also offer preventative or anti-aging procedures such as microneedling, PRP injection, and laser therapy, to name a few. So the next chapter of my life will be dedicated to building out this wellness brand.
Honestly, that's not where I was expecting this video to go. I thought he was quitting medicine entirely. It looks like he wants to start his own ketamine clinic plus med spa is what it's sounding like.
Right now, we are looking around all over LA for an ideal location to build out the Cloud Clinic. I'm a really particular person. I want this to be perfect. We have a very detailed vision of how we want the center to look like. My overall goal is to make the place really aesthetically pleasing, utilizing elements of nature and warmth, and just to instill a feeling of well-being in this clinic. We want to steer clear of making it look like, one of those sterile environments where it looks like a doctor's office. So that's the vision. This is super exciting for us. Looking forward to it every single day. It's a lot of work. It's different. It's a different kind of work, but because I enjoy doing this, I don't really see it as work. But yeah, there's a lot to learn. I'm learning new things every single day. This whole journey is going to come with its own challenges, and so want to document this whole new journey and share it with you all. And so I hope you guys continue supporting me. I can't believe I'm making this video. It's pretty crazy. Stay tuned.
Not what I expected, but kudos to Jady for, if he's not happy with his attending life after a couple of years, then he says, I want to shift gears to something else. And he's using his credentials and his training to create his own company that hopefully will bring him more happiness and fulfillment, or at least align his work more closely with his values and his priorities. I wish that he elaborated a bit more what he didn't like about being an attending. I think there are upsides to being an entrepreneur and starting your own thing. And no shade to Jady, right? I respect his decision. The sense that I'm getting is he's not happy with being an anesthesiologist, and this seems like the easiest thing to pivot to that gets him out of the 9-to-5 working as an anesthesiologist for the man. And I find it interesting that he was saying this is like one of his passions and something that he really cares about and he's really excited about. It doesn't even feel like work. Let's see what the comments say. Am I being just too cynical? Yes, some people are also bummed about the old videos. As a current resident who looked up to you in my pre-med and med school days, I have to say WTF. It's not for everyone. I hope your new goals fulfill what you've been missing in life, but your audience followed you for a completely different reason. With the deletion of your old videos on this new avenue, gonna lose all of us, find a new fan base. Some people will stick around, some people will move on. That's okay, that's how things work. Yes, another anti-aging med spa. Okay, so my thoughts on this line of work. You see a good number of residents who actually quit and start a med spa because you don't really need to be board certified in anything. You just need your license. So you do a year of residency, you pass step 3, and then you can start your own med spa if you want. I see people do that. I've also seen a handful of people pivot from other specialties to med spa, especially in larger cities like, I think he's also in SoCal, right? Very, very common in SoCal. And you'll see OB-GYN doctors and anesthesiologists and family med and et cetera, and they may start in something that they feel more comfortable with, and then they start expanding to procedures that oftentimes those in other specialties feel like they may not have the expertise to do. Like you'll see these horror stories of a OB-GYN doctor doing breast augmentation, and then the complications are horrid. And then my buddies who are, I trained with in plastic surgery who are in SoCal, they tell me these horror stories and how like it's a mess and how it's so common in SoCal and yada, yada, yada. And it's all like misbranding, and they're cheaper and you can get these procedures done. And this is not what JD's doing, by the way. JD's not doing breast dogs and such, as an anesthesiologist. It doesn't sound like. But I'm trying to give you like more context as to this being a very common thing. And I only see it getting more common with the shift in social media to this visual first focus. So it's like, what do you look like? How attractive are you, both for women and for men? And we care so much about our appearances that more and more of us are now willing to undergo X, Y, and Z procedures and do these things because it's in the name of your social status and your wellness, and it's important to look good and things like that. But the way that I perceive wellness is much less about getting certain IV therapies or infusions or doing these other interventions that you find at these sorts of places. My view of wellness is much more, what does the evidence really say are the biggest movers? And it's boring and it's not sexy and no one wants to do it because it takes a lot of work, but it's the sleep, it's the nutrition, it's the exercise and putting in those reps. And there's times you fall off. Like recently I've been sick with the flu, maybe COVID, I don't know. And now that I'm recovering, I'm still achy. I started working out again, but like my body's feeling off and it sucks. But that's probably long-term gonna move the needle way more, like multiple orders of magnitude more than any infusion or any ketamine-assisted therapy, right? I do see a therapist. I think mental health and all is really important. And other interventions, whether that's ketamine or MDMA-assisted therapies, or they have their place. I don't know, it's a common thing you see, and I'm happy for JD. He's changing things up. He's doing something that he's excited about. And it's a common thing. I think that being a social media influencer for the last several years, he is more entrepreneurial minded, right? He and his partner have created this channel, they've built a brand, et cetera, et cetera. And I think it's fine for them to lean into their entrepreneurial pursuits. I would love to hear more about what he didn't like about anesthesiology, what he's hoping to find with his new venture. But my friends, let me know what you think. Are you surprised? Do you see this coming? Let me know. See you in that next one.